Hey everyone, welcome to Intimacy Liberation Army video series day 3. It's January 3rd, 2022, and today we are talking about feedback loops and how to make your goals achievable. How to make your goals achievable. All right, so here's the deal. We go out there and we make all these big, massive goals. I think there's something about the dopamine hit or something about how we feel all accomplished when we make these huge, massive goals. And then we're like, okay, if I achieve this, then I'm going to be awesome. And we're chasing this like kind of ego, I don't know the word for it, but like we're chasing this thing. People keep texting. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Why are they texting? We're chasing this thing. It's like this ego thing. It's like, okay, if I set this goal, I mean, I know it's kind of achievable. So if I hit it, then I'm going to be a badass. And talking about it makes me feel badass. But like, generally, our goals go much longer. They take longer. And they take more work and more attention than we expected to give it. It's just generally how it works. So unless we're super clear on our goals, kind of what we talked about yesterday in the resolution stuff, unless we're super clear on our goals, we don't have any sort of inkling of a clue on how long it's going to take, on how much we're going to have to work to get to it, and all the little pitfalls and obstacles that are going to come in our way. So to get yourself motivated, I go by this thing called positive feedback loops. I think I learned it early on in self-development study, and maybe it's Tony Robbins I got it from, but I've been teaching this stuff in my classes for a long time. And basically, if you get little mini successes and towards your goals, then you're motivated to keep moving forward. So if you can break your goal down into small little tiny steps and then achieve one step after another, the whole goal thing starts to be achievable. Now there's this core concept that I talk about a lot about self-worth, self-confidence, right? So self-worth and self-confidence are basically, in my definition, your ability to trust yourself when you say you're going to do something. If it takes a little bit of courage to attach myself to a stretch goal, and then I do what the fuck I said I was going to do, then I can trust myself that I did it, and then my self-worth goes up. That's how I look at self-worth in most domains of life. If I say I'm going to do something and then I do it and I have that integrity with myself, then my self-worth goes up. And so when it comes to goal setting, I would say that your goals not only must be, SMART goals, achievable and all that stuff, but you have to be able to say, I'm going to do this and then do it. And then it will motivate you to do the next step and do the next step to the next step. So many times I set a goal and then, it's too big and hairy or it's too unclear, and then I won't be able to achieve it. And then the next iteration, if I'm accountable to somebody or if I owe somebody something, then I'm going to be like, okay, well, then I'm going to do double the amount of work, and then it'll make up for the lack of stuff that I did before. And then it doesn't work out that way. And then I eventually just drop the whole project, or I have to make big shortcuts or something. And I'm not really happy with myself about it. Well, that eats at your self-esteem. That eats at your self-worth and your trust in yourself in order to get new goals accomplished. The way I figured out how to fix this is you just break your goals down into super achievable pieces. I have a whole system I use, and I teach it in my goal-setting program in the bullet journal. But basically, if you set a big goal, a big like esoteric goal, like I'm gonna date more people, then that's not very specific. But if you're like, okay, well, what can I do daily to make this goal a reality? Well, I need to invite more people out on dates, and then you work backwards, and you say, okay, well, if I'm going to invite more people out on dates, that means I meet more people, which means I have to go to places where people are, and then introduce myself, and then which that means I have to change my lifestyle so that I end up going to places where people are, and then I got to practice some sort of introducing myself that I can call on at any time so that I don't have to get frozen up in fear or feel really uncomfortable because I'm not practicing doing it, right? So you break it all the way back and you come up with a goal of something along the lines of like, okay, I will go to a place where people are and I will talk to at least one person new and introduce myself. And that's a very specific goal. And if you say, okay, I'm going to do that every day, then you'll just go out, you'll do the thing, it'll take you 5 minutes, and then you're like, check that off, and then the next day you check that off, and the next day you check that off, and all of a sudden you start introducing yourself to a whole bunch of people. And then you're like, all right, well, I have no problems introducing myself to people. Well, now I need to invite them out on dates. So then the next week you're like, okay, I introduced myself to you, I think you're cool, let's go out and hang out. Let's go out and hang out. Let's go out and hang out. And it takes you fucking 5 minutes a day. And you just do it, and all of a sudden, now you have your dates lined up. And you're like, oh, I'm dating more people. This is cool. And then all the other variables come in place. Okay, well, maybe I need to start approaching hotter people, or maybe I need to start going out to places where people think more like me, or whatever it is, right? And you start adding on to those goals. But the point I'm making is that the momentum of achieving the things that you're trying to get at is super energized. What's the word I'm looking for? It's multiplied by your ability to make little ritual habits or make little daily commitments or small timeline things that are really bite-sized, small chunks. And then if you do it, and then you do it well, then the next day is easier, and then the next day is easier, and the next day is easier. And it kind of goes along the progressive desensitization of dealing with your own fear, dealing with your own uncomfortableness or social awkwardness or whatever, and being able to break those things one little hit at a time will add so much more oomph and energy onto the momentum of actually getting your goals accomplished. So that's the first thing. Break everything out small chunk. And then start achieving them little by little by little. Because those little tiny achievements compound like crazy when it comes to bringing more people into your social life. Let's say you have a goal to build a whole new social circle. Well, you work backwards. Like, what's his name? Begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind, right? You have this big old goal in your new social circle, end in mind. That social circle looks like this. There's guys, girls, there's people who make over X $1,000 per year. There's people who are single. There are people who do fun activities. They like to go do stupid shit like roller skating and museums or whatever you're into, right? And then so then you work backwards. You're like, all right, well, where do I find people who like roller skating? Or where do I find people who like museums and shit? Then you're like, well, maybe we should go to the museum and then meet new people there. Oh, man, I don't understand this whole 2 a.m. texting me thing. So you'll go there, or you'll go to the roller rink, and you'll meet people there, and then now you make friends doing it around that activity. You go to jiu-jitsu or whatever it is. So salsa dancing. One of my students is really into salsa dancing, so he goes out and he meets a bunch of new girls at the salsa dance class, and then he invites them to other places, other nights of the week, and it's proving to be really good for him. So first off, you small chunk, and then you begin with. Then secondly, you begin at the end in mind. You small chunk backwards, and then all of a sudden you have this goal that is minor. Like you can achieve it in a very quick amount of time. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It's bite sized. It's swallowable, and then you do it, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm the guy who does this. It starts working on your identity. It starts working on your self-worth. It starts working on your self-esteem. I had this mentor, his name's Alex Hormozy, and he says, the work works on you more than you work on it. And when you create something in a small, bite-sized, chunkable goal like that, and then you go work on it, it actually works on you at the identity level to become the kind of person who does the thing that you're trying to do. And it becomes easier, and it becomes easier, and it becomes easier. So, those are my 2 tips on how to motivate yourself to achieve your goals. How to make your goals much more motivational. You get what I'm saying. I'll put it in the title of the video. Tomorrow, I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow because I think I'm kind of wrapping up this goal thing, but probably something dating related. I will see you guys tomorrow on January 4th. Thank you for joining me, and tune in tomorrow. Until then, stay awesome.